Namaste Vasudeva Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhagati Neshtike Om Gyana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakha Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapti Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shama Shunyadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Today we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 3, Chapter 16, Text 9. The Lord is speaking to the four Kumaras, and by this Lord's words we can understand his heart, a bit of his heart, that he is so loving, and he is saying that his lotus feet are pure, they can take away the sins because he's attached to the devotees. We heard that yesterday. It's the amazing quality of the Lord. He's giving all credit to his devotees. He said, and he said he prefers to eat the prasad, which is offered to the devotees, rather than the oblations of the being put into the fire. So reading on, Yesham Bibrami Aham Akanda Vikunta Yoga Maya Vibhu Tir Amalangari Raja Kiritehe Vipram Stukona Vishaheta Yad Araha Nambaha Sadhya Panati Sahachandra Lalamalokan. I am the master of my unobstructed internal energy, and the water of the Ganges is the remnant left after my feet are washed. That water sanctifies the three worlds along with Lord Shiva, who bears it on his head. If I can take the dust of the feet of the Vaishnava on my head, who will refuse to do the same? So he's saying, Krishna is saying that he himself puts the dust of the Vaishnavas on his head. Then what? Then others also. Who's going to refuse to do that? I mean, so exalted as are the Vaishnavas, the devotees. The difference between the internal and external energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is that in the internal energy, or in the spiritual world, all the opulences are undisturbed, whereas in the external or material energy, all the opulences are temporary manifestations. So the internal, here in the material world, we can see a lot of riches, a lot of beauty, a lot of wealth, a lot of knowledge. But we see that it's not permanent with any one person. It's with them for a certain part of their life, and then it's not there anymore. Or even if it's with them for their full life, they leave the body. They leave the body, and in the next body, They may or may not have it. Whereas all the opulences in the spiritual world are eternal, no disturbance. So the Lord's supremacy is equal in both the spiritual and material worlds. But the spiritual world is called the kingdom of God, and the material world is called the kingdom of Maya. Although both the material and spiritual worlds belong to the Lord has created this material world. It's not that Maya Devi has created it, the Lord has made it. But he's given this world to Maya Devi to manage. She's the jailkeeper. She's the one who's making sure that we are all here, and then that the laws are being followed of the material world. So Maya refers to that which is not actually fact. Maya refers to that which is not actually fact. What does it mean? It means Maya actually does not have a true existence. So what does it mean? Does it mean that this world is false? No, this world is very much true. But thinking that this world does not belong to Krishna, that is Maya. Thinking that this world has its own, it's just come about by chance. All these things are just happening as a result of the material energy. All the living entities are products of material energy. This world is a product of material energy. That is Maya. What is the fact is that it belongs to the Supreme Lord. So Maya means forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord. Maya means not able to connect anything and everything to the Supreme Lord. Maya means not seeing everything in relation with the Supreme Lord. That is what is Maya. So forgetfulness of the Supreme Lord is Maya. The opulence of the material world is a reflection. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that this material world is just like a tree whose roots are up and branches down. This means that the material world is the shadow of the spiritual world. So in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, Purushottam Yoga, Lord Krishna, he says that how there is this banyan tree, which the roots are upwards and the branches are down. And this tree is a reflection of the real tree. And then he says, similarly, this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So the true reality is there in the spiritual world. And this material world is a shadow. So what is the illusion then? The illusion is thinking that I am this body, that this is my permanent situation. That is the illusion. But what is the fact is that we are spirit souls. We are spirit souls and we belong in the spiritual kingdom. Each of us has a spiritual form and we are eternal servants of Krishna. We have these different ras, but at our position, we just understand that we are the servant of Krishna. That's always going to continue, no matter what ras we are in. So then the real opulence is in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, the predominating deity is the Lord himself, whereas in the material world, there are many lords. So here, the material world, Krishna has given the management of the material world, management of the different departments of the universe to the demigods, like Surya, Chandra, Sun, Moon, Rain, Indra, Brahmaji to do the secondary creation, Lord Shiva. Then so many different demigods are there, 33 crore demigods. But in the spiritual world, the Lord is there. It's only the Lord is there. And all others, of course, the living entities, his pure devotees are there. So that the management of the spiritual world is carried on by the internal energy, by the spiritual energy. So that is the difference between the internal and external energies. The Lord says that although he is the predominating factor of the internal energy, and although the material world is sanctified just by the water that has washed his feet, he has the greatest respect for the Brahmana and the Vaishnava. When the Lord himself offers so much respect to the Vaishnava and the Brahmana, how can one deny such respect to such personalities? So Krishna is saying that the Ganga water, she's washed the Lord's feet, and that's why she's so pure. And that's the reason everyone wants to take Ganga water on their head. Ganga water is so pure because she has washed the Lord's feet that even purifies Lord Shiva, that he puts it on his head. He bears the Ganga on his head. Otherwise, the force of Ganga is so strong, it would smash the universe. So the Lord is saying that I respect the Vaishnavas and the devotees so much. They are so dear to me. I offer them so much respect. I love them so much. How can others not respect them? So it's like kind of telling us that we should also respect the pure devotees, the Vaishnavas of the Lord, because they are very, very dear to the Lord. Any comments?
I was thinking, as you said, that the reflection of the spiritual world. So, since everything here is temporary, that means that there everything is eternal.
Yeah.
So that is the reflection. That's why it is temporary here. So we just have to see the connection in the things.
Yeah. Yes. We forget here in this material world, we forget that it belongs to Krishna, that we also belong to Krishna. We think we are all independent and this material world is independent. But that thinking of us, that is what is the illusion. That is what is the Maya.
Yeah.
And as you rightly said, everything is eternal in the spiritual world. So like here in this material world, for example, right now we are in this body, we have a particular name, family relatives, particular thing. But, and then it will change after we give up this body.
Yeah.
It will change. But in the spiritual world, our identity never changes. We have a fixed identity, fixed form, a fixed name. In this material world, sometimes our name is this and sometimes our name is that. Because that's not who we truly are. That's only for the body. But in the spiritual world, we have an eternal form, eternal name, like that. So we have to revive that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And how do we revive that? By hearing and chanting. By hearing and chanting, by understanding we are all eternal parts and loving parts and parcels of Krishna. Ye me tanur dvijavaran tuhatir madhya bhutani alabda sharanani cha beda buddhya drakshayanti agha shatadrisho hi ahi manyavastan gridra rusha mama kushanti adhidandani tuhu. The Brahmanas, the cows, and the defenseless creatures are my own body. Those whose faculty of judgment has been impaired by their own sin look upon these as distinct from me. They are just like ferocious serpents, and they are angrily torn apart by the bills of the vulture-like messengers of Yamraj, the superintendent of sinful persons. So the Lord is continuing, the Brahmanas, cows, and the defenseless creatures. He's saying they are my own body. Does it mean that he doesn't have his own body? No, he has, but this is to show that how protective he is of them, that if somebody hurts them, it's like hurting him, his own self. When we are so attached to someone, then we say, oh, you're like, we are both like one body, so it's like that. The defenseless creatures, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, are the cows, Brahmanas, women, children, and old men. Of these five, the Brahmanas and cows are especially mentioned in this verse because the Lord is always anxious about the benefit of the Brahmanas and the cows and is prayed to in this way. So Bhagavatam says that always these five should be given protection: cows, Brahmanas, women, children, and old men. Old men. This is civilized culture, to give protection to these five classes: cows, Brahmanas, women, children, and old men. But we can see now in Kali Yuga, practically it's not there, you know. So, but the system, the Vedic society that Krishna made it is like that. And especially he's mentioning cows and Brahmanas, that they should be protected, so that if the cows and Brahmanas are protected, then the whole society will be a peaceful society. There'll be Brahmanical culture everywhere. So, and cows, we know she gives us the most important milk, the product milk, which is very important for us to develop our finer brain tissues, which is important to understand the transcendental nature, to understand the transcendence of the Lord. So therefore, the Lord especially instructs that no one should be envious of these five, especially the cows and Brahmanas. In some of the Bhagavatam readings, the word duhitrihi is used instead of duhatihi. But in either case, the meaning is the same. Duhatihi means cow, and duhitrihi can also be used to mean cow, because the cow is supposed to be the daughter of the sun god. So anyway, Srila Prabhupada is saying that the cow is being specified here, that we should protect the cows and the Brahmanas. Just as children are taken care of by the parents, women as a class should be taken care of by the father, husband, or grown-up son. Those who are helpless must be taken care of by their respective guardians. Otherwise, the guardians will be subjected to the punishment of Yamraj, who is appointed by the Lord to supervise the activities of sinful living creatures. So Krishna wants us to take care of the others. If we are guardians of those who are helpless, or, you know, he wants us to do our duty properly, take care of children, Brahmanas, cows, old people, women. So otherwise, he's saying then you will be subjected to Yamraj's punishment. The assistants or messengers of Yamraj are likened here to vultures, and those who do not execute their respective duties in protecting their wards are compared to serpents. Vultures deal very seriously with serpents, and similarly, the messengers will deal very seriously with neglectful guardians. So here Bhagavatam is telling us we should be very careful in our dealings and in our duties, that we should be giving protection to our wards. Any comments? Anything to add?
And that's why, because Dhritarashtra was the guardian of the Pandus and he did not protected them, so he was already breaking the rule of the Shastra.
Yeah, good connection. Yeah.
Right? Because
yes.
as it's mentioned here, no?
Yes, good connection. Yes. And especially, you see, Dhritarashtra, even though he got the mercy of Vidur, then he still got only the impersonal Brahmajyoti. At the end of his life, his body burned in fire and his soul merged into the Brahman. He didn't go to the spiritual world. You know why? Krishna didn't give him the spiritual world? Because Dhritarashtra was always envious of the Pandavas. So Pandavas are Krishna's pure devotees, and he committed many offenses to the Pandavas, and Krishna takes those offenses very personally. You know, he takes it personally. So he gave him impersonal liberation. Okay, you can go sit in the Brahmajyoti, but don't come to the spiritual world. Yeah, but yeah, good connection with Dhritarashtra. So
And there is one more, when you just read, there is one more comparison. So can you explain that one in the previous?
which one?
That the
The cow?
Yamraj, no, the Yamraj doots
Oh,
are like the eagle, is it?
the vulture.
Vulture, sorry,
Or
yeah.
the Yamadut
The Yamadut are like the vultures, right?
vultures, and people who go against the scriptural injunctions are like the snakes. So the vultures are
Oh,
always, eating up the snakes, punishing them, torturing kind of the snakes. So the Yamadutas are waiting for us to give us our respective punishments.
okay.
Yeah. So
But
that's the reason we are always encouraged to follow the Vedas, the rules and regulations of the Vedas, not engage in sinful activity.
okay.
And it's very more graphically described in the sixth canto about the Yamadutas with the Ajamil.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So ye brahmana maidhiya shipato archayantastusya smita sudokshita padma vaktraha vyanuraga kalayat machavat grahanantaha sambodhayanti aham ivaham upahratastehe. On the other hand, they captivate my heart, who are gladdened in heart and who, their lotus faces, enlightened by nectarian smiles, respect the Brahmanas. Even though the Brahmanas utter harsh words, they look upon the Brahmanas as my own self and pacify them by praising them in loving words, even as a son would appease an angry father, or as I am pacifying you. So here the Lord is the Lord, but he's pacifying the four Kumaras. As when the child is angry or throwing a tantrum, then the parents try to pacify the child. Child is throwing a tantrum and the parent will be like, oh, you're so nice, don't cry. So here the Lord is pacifying. He's so amazing, He's so amazing, so loving. The more we hear about him. And yet we say, no, I'm not a servant of the Lord. We want to have so many different masters. We are servants of so many different people, but we don't want to be the servant of this most loving personality, Krishna. So here, what Krishna is saying, that he is very happy with the people who are giving respect to the Brahmanas, who are happy to see the Brahmanas, even though the Brahmanas utter harsh words. But usually a Brahmana will not utter harsh words, They will not, unless there is some reason behind it, there is some lesson to be learned, or they are being used as an example to show certain thing. Krishna does that, right? Like, for example, we might say, oh, Durvasa Muni, very angry. But Krishna, he's a great personality. He's allowing himself to be used in this position so that there are some lessons for us to learn. So he's very respectful personality. But Krishna is using these different personalities to show us what we need to learn, how we need to behave, like that. Is that okay? Like Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, also great personalities. Otherwise, how could they be even, be in the pastimes of Lord Krishna? So all these are very great personalities, and we need to learn by their activities what we should do and what we should not do. So it has been observed in many instances in the Vedic scriptures that when the Brahmanas or Vaishnavas curse someone in an angry mood, the person who is cursed does not take it upon himself to treat the Brahmanas or Vaishnavas in the same way. There are many examples of this. For instance, the sons of Kuvera, when cursed by the great sage Narad, did not seek revenge in the same harsh way, but submitted. So Narad Muni, what he cursed the Nala, Kuber, and Manigriv, that you become trees. But Narad Muni's curse was a great benediction for Nala, Kuber, and Manigriva. that they are going to become trees in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, and they're going to see Krishna's pastimes, and they're going to see Krishna face to face. So this kind of a curse was great benediction for Nala, Kuvera and Manigriva. Otherwise, they would never have had the opportunity to see Krishna face to face. They are sons of Kuvera. They are in the heavenly kingdom. They are enjoying their life. Then how would they even get the opportunity to see Krishna? But here, by the mercy of Narad Muni, they're getting an opportunity. Okay, even though he cursed them, so we can see that a devotee's curse is actually not a curse, but it's a great blessing. It's a great blessing. So here also, when Jaya and Vijay were cursed by the four Kumaras, they did not become harsh towards them. Rather, they submitted. That should be the way of treating Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. One may sometimes be faced with a grievous situation created by a Brahmana, but instead of meeting him with a similar mood, one should try to pacify him with a smiling face and mild treatment. So here, Jai Vijay, they are not counter-cursing. They are not counter-cursing the four Kumaras. They are saying, they are accepting, okay, I made a mistake. I stopped you. We stopped you from entering. We are very sorry for this. And we are ready to accept whatever punishment you give us. So Krishna is saying, be like that to the Brahmanas. That we may be faced with a grievous situation, but instead of meeting him with a similar mood, we should try to pacify him with a smiling face and mild treatment. Okay, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas should be accepted as earthly representatives of Narayana. But then you see, so many people, they hear this and then they are misusing their position. Then that's not really a Brahmana. A Brahmana means somebody who's qualified to be a Brahmana. Not that somebody says that I'm born in the family of a Brahmana, so let me misuse. That's how the caste system, it got degraded into the caste system, right? Because the so-called Brahmanas, they were not actually qualified, but they wanted that honor. And then it just got degraded. So that's not what Krishna is saying. But the true Brahmanas, we have to, the devotees, we have to respect them. So nowadays, some foolish persons have manufactured the terms Daridra Narayan, indicating that the poor man should be accepted as the representative of Narayan. But in Vedic literature, we do not find that poor men should be treated as representatives of Narayan. So who are the representatives of Lord Narayan? Is the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas. That's what Krishna is saying, that they are my representatives. So you treat them with care. So here it's mentioned that Daridra Narayan, saying that the poor people are representative of Narayan, is not accepted. There's nowhere mentioned in the Vedic literature that poor men are representatives of Narayan. No. Of course, those who are unprotected are mentioned here, but the definition of this phrase is clear from the Shastras. The poor man should not be unprotected, but the Brahmana should especially be treated as the representative of Narayan and should be worshipped like him. So here the difference is being said, that of course we should protect the poor man. Krishna was saying just now that we need to protect, those who are our wards, those who are needy, we need to protect them. But it doesn't mean that because we are giving them protection that they have become the representative of the Supreme Lord. It doesn't mean that by protecting them, we are protecting that they are the representative of the Lord. No, the Brahmanas and the devotees are the representative of the Lord. So there's a difference. There's a difference, and we need to understand that. It is specifically said that to pacify the Brahmanas, one's face should be lotus-like. A lotus-like face is exhibited when one is adorned with love and affection. In this respect, the example of the fathers being angry at the son and the sons trying to pacify the father with smiling and sweet words is very appropriate. So if we are trying to pacify someone, we should pacify them with love, smiling, sweet words. tolerance, great respect. That's what Krishna is saying. Tolerance and respect, that we've been hearing, that we need to respect everyone. We need to have tolerance, forbearance. These are the qualities we need to cultivate because they're pleasing to Krishna. Krishna sees our heart. What is the situation of our heart? How soft is it, or how hard is the heart? So it's not that the poor man should not be protected. They should be protected, but we should understand who is really the representative of the Supreme Lord, and those are the devotees. The devotees. Is that okay? Any comment?
So here are a lot of things, right? Like how we should be treating the Brahmanas, how we should behave with them, right? We should be happy to see them, welcome them. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
And then what is this one? The flower, the lotus?
So the example is given that if the father is angry, then the son should pacify the father with love, with respect, with a nice smile. So then the face will look like a lotus, beautiful, like beautifully trying to pacify the father if the father is angry. So the same way is given that if the devotee or the Vaishnava is angry, we should try to pacify them.
Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Because a true Brahmana, a true devotee is not going to be angry without a reason, So that's what the example was given. So if no other question or comments, we'll stop here for Bhagavatam. Thank you so much for listening in, for joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.